voice sounds off. Perfect. Oh, whoops. Forgot I was in public. Whoever's on here is going to see a lot of me just chilling. I forgot it was. God, okay. Should I get my chapstick? Sharon, oh my God. Not always there when you call, but always on time. Hi. No sound? Let's see. Hello. Still no sound? We have sound? Okay, we have sound. Hello. It is wunderbar, wunderbar, wunderbar. I should give you a hint as to where I'm at. Holler. We got something called Gushers, is all I'm going to call it. But if you know, you know. Oh, y'all, how is everybody? Where are you all tuning in from? I'm just chilling in Deutschland, you know. Toronto, Chicago. I'm just letting people file in before we start getting into the things because we have a lot to talk about. I have my, oh, hi. No, I am in Deutschland, Germany, Berlin to be exact. That's not a very good German accent, but you know, German is a language that I want to learn before I die. It's one of my favorite languages. I think it is so fucking beautiful and cool and very, very expressive. Georgia. Oh, yes, I grew up in Georgia. Shout out, Georgia. Gwinnett County, DeKalb County, and Fulton. It's kind of all three of those, you know. So yeah, we're outside because it's a different scenery. Because where I'm at, there's this cute backyard area, and I was like, well, why? I'm so close to the camera. I'm like, because you know I gotta read, and you know I'm auntie. I'm old, and we will talk about old in a moment. Oof. The kids on TikTok were letting me know how old I am. God. Okay. Okay, well, let's just get into it while people are still filing in. I hope y'all are doing well. Hope everyone's chilling, having a good summer so far. If you're working, oh God, I hope your job isn't super, super ashy. This is like the first summer I think I'm still working, obviously, but it's like less physically as intense because I do YouTube more full time now, you know? And before that, I was just serving in restaurants, so yeah. I remember that first COVID summer back when we were wearing masks and serving outside, and one of the restaurants that I worked at had like a kind of strict-ish dress code. It was kind of like a gastro pub. Girl, oh my God. Oh my God, I wanted to die. I wanted to die. Okay. Anyway, so let's get into it. I think that's enough minutes of people chatting, and let me know if y'all can still hear me. I'm switching things over because we are going to recap some things because I recently, hold on, let me find this real quick. I always say I have it organized and then stuff happens and I'm like, just kidding. But I recently came out with this video and some of you have seen it, some of you have not. Sharon, can you pop the link down in there for me, girly? Please and thank you. But yes, I released this video last week, just kind of on a whim because I've wanted to do something funny and not super serious, but serious. And of course, people have all their thoughts and things. The most recent comment that I saw in passing was someone being like, women have lost their minds. And I was like, excuse you, non-binary degenerate. But anyway, quick recap for those of you, are the girls fighting. The only time I ever come on live is when the girls are fighting or when I'm fighting with someone. So you know that that's going to be part of it too, but we'll get to that in a moment. So, and also y'all, this is my job. So yes, come on in the room, come on in the space. Let's have some discussions. Let's get this live chat lively. Some people have already dropped super chats. Let's keep doing that, okay? And if you're waiting to hear what I have to say before you do that, that's fair. So, okay. We know some things happened with Jonah Hill and with one Keke Palmer's partner. Naturally shaped. Yes, thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Okay. Hold on, I just want to make sure I have the right. Okay, so Keke Palmer stepped out in something like this, right? She stepped out in this outfit, looking nice, going to the Usher concert. We all know what happened. If you don't, this is why I'm recapping it. And people, it wasn't really that big a deal. And then her baby daddy tweeted this. Well, no, not this. That's her baby daddy. Hi, Darius. Hi. I don't know if y'all are still together. Sorry to this man. But he tweeted this. It's the outfit, though, you a mom. And, of course, this sparked huge debate because everything online sparks debate. But also because this is actually an interesting one. This one hair never wants to, stay there. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, my God. Anyway, sparked a lot of debate, conversations online. I posted a trailer to the video and people are also commenting, and there's a lot of people operating in this, what I'm now calling the JD bro territory. I'm not going to call them JD bros, and JD just stands for Jonah and Darius. It's just the quickest way I could do this. You could put this up on Urban Dictionary if you want to, sure. But these, to me, at first I put straight men, but it doesn't always have to be. But men who are progressive to an extent, are open-minded to an extent, are sometimes, but not always, feminist to an extent, and are working on their mental health. Sometimes, not always, to an extent. That extent is until they feel uncomfortable. Okay, that's not fair, but like, it's feeling that way based off the way people were talking about this situation. A JD bro to me, and again, JD bro tendencies more so than just being a JD bro, because people are more than one thing, but JD bro tendencies are giving in the same family of male feminists that will talk all this big game about how much they read and how much they appreciate feminism and women can dress however, but a lot of times it's just because you want to sleep with those quote-unquote liberated women. And you don't really have any interest in like the political action and what solidarity means, because if you did, I don't know, you wouldn't be moving the way you do. It seems like a lot of, and I'm saying men in this instance, but I know it's not just men that think this way. I know that. I'm just using this as a definition, and I know not all men think this way. For those of you that are new, I do try to practice nuance, but it is very telling when people are like, well, I don't see what Jonah Hill said was wrong. I don't see how Darius was wrong. I wouldn't want people to dress that way. That is crossing a boundary. That is. And people keep saying the word boundary like it's going to change the definition of the word if they say it harder. Again, as I said in my video, your boundary starts and ends with you. And everything after that, that's not a boundary. You can communicate your wants, needs, and desires with a partner and be like, this is what I will put up with, this is what I won't. And if that person continues to act in a way that you don't appreciate, you find disrespectful, you don't like, it's up to you to remove yourself from that situation. It's your personal responsibility then. If you date someone that has all the traits and qualities that you like, but you don't like the way that they dress, that's totally fine. Then you need to move yourself from the situation. If you don't think you'll ever be able to find a partner that's like them, or you don't want to do the work of finding other people, some of y'all, that's what it is. You don't want to do the work of finding a partner that you can work with, have that push and pull, compromise in some ways, not in others. And compromise is not control. Again, because a lot of you are mixing those words up. And in a second, we're going to watch a video, and hopefully the sound plays. If it doesn't, I'll just talk about it. But I won't say that. Anyway, I'm going to get to it when we get to it. But it's troublesome to see how many people cannot see what is wrong with the way Jonah was acting and the way Darius was acting, especially like with the Jonah thing. He didn't put that out online. Obviously he wouldn't. It makes him not look that great. Or to some people, it makes him look reasonable, you know? But Darius, there was no reason for us to know all that. He brought that nonsense to his door by putting it online. That was on him. Like, I don't know why he did that. Truly, I'm still stunned as to why any of us know that he didn't like what she was wearing. Maybe she was ignoring his text, so he decided, oh, we're in a fight now. I'm going to put it to the internet so I can get all these other bald-headed knuckle draggers to... I'm sorry, that's terrible. I don't like to make fun of the way people look, so I was just trying to be funny. Sometimes I'm... Scratch, please. I apologize. That was rude. Like, sincerely, that was rude. But it's just very telling that he would post it online so that other people would react and respond. And it's like... You got what you wanted, I guess, but now, I don't know, do you still have your partner? Do you have issues now with the mother of your child? Anyway. There's a video that I saw on Instagram that I wanted to show y'all because it, I think, really, it really just gets to what I think a lot of people are trying to say but don't know how to say it. Hold on, let me just make sure I find it. Because I got all these.
Because 99.9% of the time, those girls did not cheat on him.
I just want to add to this because somebody on Twitter said, I dated a chick who every time I voiced how I felt about behavior and how she dressed, she claimed I was manipulating her and trying to control her. She didn't understand respect. Know what I did? I left. And what I want to add is, and this could be applied to everybody, is that a lot of people, their definition of respect is obedience and compliance. Because I promise you, whenever you do ask them to go into detail about how their ex was disrespectful, they're going to describe to you times where their ex wasn't obedient or wasn't accommodating to their specific needs or wants. And that's because for a lot of us, the way our parents taught us respect was that once I say I don't like something, I don't want to see it anymore. Now we're using communication as a means of control. So now we're thinking once I say I don't like XYZ, I should no longer see XYZ. There are a lot of people saying that their exes disrespected them, and the disrespect was their exes wanting to wear what they want, go wherever they want, and be friends with whoever they want. And people took that as disrespect.
Turning my voice back up. We're turning off the audio. We've adjusted. We're good. We're back. Okay. Y'all saw it, though. It was really loud, but yeah. But the thing that I appreciated about that video is that I talk a lot about, well, I will try to throw in the mentions of youth liberation a lot, and sometimes, and the main reason I'm doing that is because a lot of us are taught from a young age that everything your parent says is the absolute truth and end all be all. You have to listen to absolutely everything any authority figure therefore says, because it's the end all be all, and you can't ask questions or talk back or wonder why, or even if you're not talking back, even if you're genuinely just curious, that stuff is shoved out of you because you're a kid, you don't know any better. I told you Do not look at people, don't look at adults when they're talking, stay out of grown folks' business, I'm on the phone, why are you in my mouth, all this other stuff. You then become teenagers and adults that do the same thing, but yet you're expected to be some sort of free, critical thinker. If you spend your whole life being told this is how you're supposed to act, this is what you're supposed to do, this is how you're supposed to dress or not dress, and then you try to replicate that onto other people, do you not see how that's just you trying to have control over others? And I'll break it down a bit better because I think I'm just being a bit general here. But the ideal of obedience, and we can argue this. Actually, I'm not even gonna say it's for animals because animals don't understand what we're talking about. So like, it's kind of audacious for us to be like, obey me. But the ideal of obedience, y'all are conflating respect with obedience. When you say Jonah Hill and Darius were not wrong for what they were saying, you're conflating I don't like it, so you can't do it, and not understanding that that's control. That's not respect and boundaries. That's I told you not to do this thing and you went and did it. And you're pointing your finger and scolding them. This is why I was saying it's sort of infantilizing. Like, I've dated men that have commented on the clothes that I wear, that have said I cannot or should not wear something. And I have had the most visceral response to that kind of shit because I'm like, I do not let my dad talk to me like this. I will be damned if I let a stranger, a man that I just met 6 months ago, talk to me like that. Huh? Y'all are saying you need to obey me. And if you want somebody to do that, I'm sure you can find someone that will want to do that. But y'all don't want somebody that does that. You want a baddie. You want a surfer chick that looks hot in a bathing suit, that looks hot around men because other men find her attractive, that had a baby and has curves. You want a girl that is va-va-voom. And if she's not va-va-voom, at least she needs to be hot to you. And she needs to stay hot to you, but she can't be attractive to anyone else. The amount of people that are saying, well, I don't see how there's anything wrong with it. It lets me know that there are quite a few of y'all that have insecurity issues that you need to deal with, and also maybe some codependency issues, maybe some issues about standing up in your own and deciding what you like and don't like. Again, if you like people telling you what to do, go with God. That couldn't be me. It's not my thing. But like, truly, I respect it. It's not my thing. Do your thing. But if it's something you are doing and it makes you miserable, don't then go around and try to tell everybody else that they have to act the same way because you're miserable. Some people like dressing modestly. Some people like showing ass. When you're in a relationship with somebody, it's about meeting them where they're at and doing compromises. For sure, you have to. You're involving and melding your life with another person that didn't know you maybe before, unless y'all were friends before. And if they did, you're still melding a life together. So that's going to take some push and pull, some give and get and all of that. But that is not, again, the same thing as I think it is disrespectful for you to wear XYZ. Why is it disrespectful? Because my partner is a reflection of who I am. Why is your partner a reflection of who you are? They can be... Ooh, it froze. I hope the Wi-Fi didn't act up. Hold on. Okay, it's back. Ooh. Sorry, it's back. Okay. I can't even remember where I was at because I was on a tangent. But, oh, why is it? It's a reflection of you. I am a reflection of myself. I'm not a reflection of you. Yeah, there might be similarities. People will say birds of a feather flock together. It's like, okay, well, maybe to an extent, there are some similarities, similar values that we share. that make us flock together, so to speak. I don't know. I do understand. I'll take it back. I do understand that, well, this person is a reflection of me, but like if that person is a reflection of you, then and you are the kind of person that does not like immodest dress, you're like a very pious person maybe, or you're not, but you just don't like that for yourself or anyone around you, then you need to find someone that does. But the issue here is not that people are finding these great people that said that they were one way and then completely turned around and actually they aren't modest and they like to dress like hoochie mamas and go out every weekend. That's not what we're finding. We're finding men talking about women that they probably found in a club, found somewhere, or like, I don't know, out, whatever. They had on some pum pum shorts and looked good, and you wanted to date her, and then she kept wearing those pum pum shorts and going out, and you realized other men would find her attractive or that would get attention. And instead of looking inward and going, well, what's my issue? And also, what's the world around me's issue? You turned it into, it's her fault because she doesn't respect me. Do y'all not hear how you sound like your dads? Like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. And then, okay, somebody just said tolerance. I love this. There are also going to be things that a partner says or does or is the way that they are when you're meeting that partner where they're at that are kind of uncomfortable, maybe. But if you ever expect to grow and cultivate that kind of relationship, and if you're willing to compromise on those things, if you're not, like I said, you can leave. But if you are willing to compromise on those things because they have all these other great qualities, then you have to be willing to be a little uncomfortable. It's not going to be the most comfortable. Dating gender non-conforming people more this year and trans folks has really taught me about where for all my talk, where my comforts lie and where my discomforts lie and where I've had to go, all right, Khadija, so what's the deal? What's the discomfort here? Like, let's unpack it. Let's stretch it out. Let's see. And then let's stretch it out. Jesus. Oh, hello. But if you do all of that and you still feel the same way, if you do all of that work and you're still feeling like, nah, then sometimes the answer is just okay. But if you say you're super open-minded and you really want to live by that philosophy, that life philosophy, then you have to slowly do the things that'll help you become more open-minded because the world teaches you to be close-minded. Y'all get what I'm saying? Checking the chat. I'm checking the chat. Hi, Kia. Hi. Oh, somebody sent another super chat. I and B have very often had partners, male, female, and male, female to male, and B, that would overstep and try to negotiate or outright ignore my boundaries on a consistent basis. I would try to be transparent about it, but it would always result in arguments and guilt. And that's the thing. People don't realize manipulation is a guilt is a manipulation tactic. Trying to make people feel guilty, because the manipulation part is you acting in a way so that they do exactly what you want and being dishonest about that. Jonah Hill telling his partner, this is what I want. He was being transparent about what he wanted, which is his right to do. But what his right wasn't to do was to then turn around and expect someone who is a professional surfer to stop taking pictures with men, stop date. Like, let me show y'all the text messages because I love receipts. Like, this first one, literally, just say hello. Just say hello and leave the combo. I love how your therapist thinks I suck. I'm literally the best boyfriend. That first part, just leave the conversation, I don't know what it pertained to. At first I was like, is this because she was talking to someone that was like a dude and he didn't want her talking to a dude? This also lets me know, like, guys like this, I'm just like, you don't understand what it's like to be in a position, and I'm taller. So like, that's also a thing where I found I don't get bothered as much because I'm not someone, and I'm strong looking. Like, I'm not saying that to like hype myself up. I'm saying that because I'm a freaking pole dancer and like, I got shoulders on me, okay? But I don't, less and less, I get people just walking up thinking that they could just say anything to me and like I'm not going to turn around and go, excuse you? In public. Online, we'll talk about it. But, sorry, I lost my train of thought completely. Oh my God. But yeah, I find that when you are smaller and you're moving through this world, there's this like, and again, Julia Serrano talked about this in Sex Stuff. There's this idea of like people being able to just fuck with you. And particularly when you're in a femme body, people think that they can just fuck with you. They think that you're weak. They just are like, yeah. And so sometimes the street harassment that we get is not always just sexual. It's just this idea of somebody wanting to mess with you this time. And you're like, what the? And it can look in a lot of different ways. But yeah, this, I think a lot of times guys, when they're like talking to their girlfriends, like, well, just walk away, just smile and walk away. It's like, you don't understand what it's like when you're moving through the world in a certain body and you're scared for your safety, so you can't just say, haha, no thanks. You can't always do that. Or you say no thanks because you don't want to deal with the bullshit and they're cursing you out next minute. And I'm hoping this is happening less and less as we become more aware about consent and just all these conversations. But I don't know, man. The backlash seems to be quite strong. But the thing that I'm like sitting here seeing is like, there's not really a lot of compassion and understanding in this dynamic of, and vulnerability. Because you have to be able to be vulnerable to expect someone to be vulnerable back. If one of these men had just stopped for a second and was like, hey, I'm feeling a way about the outfits and the guys, and I don't 100% know what it is. Maybe it's me, maybe it's you, like, I don't know, but I'm feeling a way and I need us to sort this out. If that's your partner and they love and care about you, they should be like, okay, well, let's talk about it. What exactly is the issue? What's the issue? Let's talk this out. Because I love you and I'm committed to you and I want to figure this out. You don't like this outfit. Okay, what is it about the outfit? What's the deal? It's too revealing. Well, I like to reveal my body and this is how you met me, so why is it an issue now? You know what I mean? Like having a conversation that might take a few weeks, a few days for both of you to come together and be vulnerable with each other. You be vulnerable and like standing up for yourself maybe and going, no, I like what I like and this is how I am. But also let me come from a place of compassion as to maybe this person is feeling insecure. And then on the other end, okay, I'm activated. I'm feeling insecure. I'm feeling a type of way. So maybe this has more to do with me than the person, but I need this person to know because it's about them. I say this, y'all, not because I think I'm the smartest bitch in the room and I just love to hear myself talk, though I do talk a lot, yes. But I actually spend a lot of time sitting in silence. But I say this because I have done a lot of work on trying to unpack my relationship to romantic relationships, on trying to understand why I have been an insecure, manipulative partner at times and then been manipulated and allowed it to happen because I was too codependent and mixing all those together. Like I have done so much fucking work on trying to like unlearn those habits and create new ones and create healthy relationships. And it has helped me so much when it comes to how I date. Immensely. And I have an ex-boyfriend that I still talk to, and I will message sometimes out of nowhere and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I did this. And they're like, oh my God, we are good. But like, so many of us are shitty to our partners. Men, women, NBs, all of us can be shitty to our partners. Relationships are tough. They require you confronting the parts of yourself that you fucking hate. It's a lot of familiar trauma that comes up. It's a lot of shit. So I get it. But again, it is not okay to go with the first reaction you have, which is they did something that upset me, so now they have to be upset. And I'm saying this from a place of someone who has been that bitch. The BPD will get you every time. And I'm open about it. And people try to use it against me and go, well, that makes sense why you talk this way because you're BPD. I'm like, I will lead with the faults that I've had, y'all, because I'm not afraid to be honest with y'all and with myself about the shit that I've done that is not fucking cute. I'm becoming even more honest with myself. The more I'm understanding how to be a good partner, I'm realizing how bad of a partner I was at other times. And I can be a bit hard on myself, sure, but like, sometimes I was not, it was a mess. What? Plus, my therapist said I graduated therapy this year, so I'm kidding. I'm gonna get a therapist in another year. I'm gonna take a break this year, but I'm gonna get a therapist anyway. But yeah, a lot of these messages were wild to me. They were very uncomfortable. Stuff like this. You can't say that you're gonna respect someone either way. The either way is not either way. It's I will respect you only if you do what I say to do. Only if you do what I want you to do. That would be hurtful and triggering to me. That's not a conversation. You're listing demands. What? What? There's that other one. These two. A list of demands. I know that people have certain boundaries, certain things, the bullet point list, have certain things. Can we add them as a mod, please? Yes, hold on, sorry. Okay, just added. There's somebody else that's always in these chats that I was gonna make a mod as well. I can't find you in here. I'm trying to remember the username. I'll figure it out after. Anyway. You have a laundry list of demands and you're saying that these are your boundaries. If you have a laundry list of things that you do or do not want that you came up with your therapist, that's cool. I think it's good. You should have that so that you know you don't waste your own time and somebody else's. And you don't know what you don't know. Maybe this is the first time Jonah found out that he does not like, that he thought he was cool and open-minded, but he really isn't as cool and open-minded with this stuff as he thought. That's also fair. But if that's the case, then, again, it's a conversation. It's not a, you have to do X, Y, Z to make it better. What are you going to do to make it better? And if you don't do that, then I have, the reason that I'm trying to have compassion but also be firm is that, like, I don't know if I've exactly done this necessarily. I don't think I've ever told anyone how they can dress. Like, that's a wild one. But, like, wanted people to do X, Y, Z. You have to do that. That one ex that I was telling you about that I'm friends with now, I used to demand good morning and good night texts. Now, I could have asked for more communication or a way that we could work out so that I wouldn't feel like when we didn't text each other, he just fucked off. But that was a lot of my insecurity. That was me being upset that when we weren't together, he was just out forgetting about me doing whatever, because I have a lot of trauma around that and abandonment issues and hello, the BPD of it all. And instead of realizing that, I was very like, okay, well, I need you to do this, this, and this. That is not a good look. Oh my God, I'm so grateful we're still friends. I'm like, how are you friends with me? But like, the thing that was great about him is that he had a lot of compassion and taught me to have compassion for myself. And in that moment, I needed a lot more than I do now, but I have done a lot of work with my own insecurities so that I don't put them onto other people and act like they're boundaries that I'm allowed to have on a person that didn't ask for that. Y'all know what I'm saying? Those aren't boundaries, those are preferences. What are y'all saying in the chat? I popped out for a second because I can't watch it while I'm talking. I gotta focus. And the word abusive, sorry, because somebody just said it's abusive. People get really scared when that word gets thrown around because it's a scary word. It's a scary word to be accused of. It's terrifying. I get that. But if the plain and simple rule is that you hurt someone, is that, let's say it's a misuse, because that's one of the words in the definition, we're responsible for each other, right? As human beings, as people, we're in relation to each other. And you misuse that trust, that relationship. You hurt someone. Yeah, it hurts to hear that you hurt someone. So when it's abuse, it's like, damn. Whew, Lord. All right, what is everybody saying before we move on to the next thing? Because this TikTok fucking age filter, Lord, y'all, please, oh my God. Let's take a quick little 2-minute break. We're gonna take a 4-minute break at 1:27 p.m. 5-minute break at 1:27. Nope, that's 4 minutes. At 1:27 p.m. Jesus. Eastern Standard Time. We will return. We will reconvene. Go get something to drink. Preferably water, y'all. Hydrate yourselves. For those of you just joining, we're taking a 5-minute break. Because the next part is about some TikTok mess that I got into. Kind of. I don't know. $127. Get your snacks, get whatever you need. I'm gonna retouch my chapstick. I'll be right back. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that other thing. All this was happening. I think Jonah Hill was 39 and she was 25. No one said you couldn't date anyone younger than you, but like, some of y'all really know what you're doing when you date people that are in their 20s, but not quite. You know. But then again, I was in my 20s too, thinking that it was cute. Goodness. Thanks, I don't care, man. I'm in a relaxed mood, you know? "25 is a fully developed brain." I don't know. We need to find the studies. Have they done a You're Wrong About episode on that? Because there are a lot of times where we quote that, but I don't know how accurate it is. And also, like 25, yeah, you're an adult still. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, like, there's something that comes along with the wisdom of age that you have that you don't have when you're 25. Even when you think, like, I was 25 thinking that I was grown. I'm 31 now, and I'm like, God. And I'm probably going to feel the same way when I hit 40, if I'm lucky enough to get there. You know what I'm saying? So that's more so what I'm talking about. I'm not calling him a predator. I don't throw words around just because they sound fun to hear. No. Yeah, a little too reliant on pop psychology. That's the thing. Maybe I've been listening to too much If Books Could Kill, because Michael Hobbs is just, it's just our big gay uncle. That's true. Yeah. Also, brain fully developed doesn't mean that you are like, you've arrived at your intellectual conclusions. You have no more growing to do. I think a lot of y'all hear that and think, okay, well, I'm smart now. And it's like, your brain is a muscle, isn't it? Your brain is inside your body. It's something. For any of the people that study brains, neuroplasticity, can you explain it to us? I love this. Y'all are asking the questions exactly. The questions. Challenge it. Challenge them. Okay. Oh, God. Okay.
I love how many white.
Okay. So, we're back. We're back. We're back. So, if you have not been on TikTok, there is this age filter that is going around hurting all the dolls' feelings. It's a bit too much. It's a bit too much, but I had posted one version that I had put at the end of my Kiki Palmer Jonah Hill video, that you can check it out. Is it still playing audio for some reason? No, it's not. Okay. Um, but yeah, I decided to throw my little video in there because I thought it was funny. Posted it, went about my day. It's now at 1.2 million views, which in TikTok I've realized is like a lot, but also not that much because there are videos that get 12 million views on there, and I'm like, what? But anyway, so for context, this is the original video. I'm gonna try to turn the volume down. Yeah. I love how many white people are finding out that they just need to moisturize. Y'all. Maybe not just moisturize. Some of you will age like milk, but some of you just need to moisturize. So yeah, I posted that video, went about my day. And then, of course, people started commenting and replying, and there were some really funny responses. This one right here, I think, is the most. Like, I think people, this is the 12 million view. It's wild, but there are some pretty funny. Some of these TikToks are so funny. Okay, wait.
I love how many white people are finding out that they just need to moisturize.
And what about me? Huh?
So good. Girl, she said, what about me? Since you got your degree and know everything. Oh, God. It's so funny. Some of these are so funny. Somebody, maybe we'll watch them at the end just to like wrap this up with some joy. But like somebody just like stood up and like we both had the same reaction of like, and then he just stood up and walked off. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. But it couldn't all be fun and games, right? Because people, of course, let's hope this slideshow works. I don't know if the slideshow is going to work. We're about to find out. If it doesn't, I'll just post some of the pictures on here. But basically, people were not too happy after a while because you know TikTok, they just like to post whatever, like if you say something that's slightly, I don't know, offensive, or maybe not even meant to be, or if it's a joke, people can't tell which is fair. Tone indicators are a thing, and I didn't put any on there, so fair play. But some people, y'all, the disrespect the children were giving me in the chat, and I say children, but a lot of these folks were grown. I went to their profiles and I was like, so you have a job, not just like a little ice cream job. Like you have a job, and you are on TikTok acting like this. I'm gonna turn my audio up because I had to lower it for the video, but we're back. See, this is what I should have done when I was, what's it call it? This is what I should have done before. Okay. There were a lot of comments. A lot of them were generally like this. Some of them were funny, some of them were disrespectful. Please don't change your voice audio for videos. It's unbalanced. Okay, got you. Sorry, y'all, you're gonna have to give me a second. I'm gonna load these comments because there were a lot of them. I'm gonna load them while you talk amongst yourselves. Because I put a slideshow in here, but it didn't work. It did not work. Do 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 do. Boom 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 boom. This is very professional. I know. I know. I know. I know. I'm just gonna keep adding images, so you know, just talk amongst yourselves. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I live to see your shining faces. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, yeah. I know some Christian anthems. What's that other one? Not the Pentecostal drama. My God is an awesome God who reigns from heaven above. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong one. That's not the right image. Just adjusting these. Sorry, y'all. Actually, I'm not that sorry. I said they were calling me a bad word right now. Guess which one? She, her? Jesus. I'm kidding. Y'all are just getting previews as I load these comments anyway. Let's see, 7307. Ooh, 7307. I can't think of any more of those Christian songs. Y'all are getting previews of the videos. What's that other one? It's like, you are holy. You are, what is it? Yeah, that's one. Oh, y'all, it keeps going. I'll eventually stop. I'm not gonna post all of them, obviously. There's too many to post. But there's just a lot that really got the point across. Let's... And... Oh yeah, that one was good. There was a bit of anti-fat bias in here. That one was interesting. Hold up, let's just do it this way. All right, so that one was interesting. Oh, it's starting to get good, y'all. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that might have been one of my faves. Yeah. Oh, there's another one that let me know I was too black for the filter. That's... That was interesting. And of course, a fave. All right. Well, these are the greatest hits. There's actually a lot more, but anyway. So, what got me the most about these comments? Firstly, the racist ones. I said this on my Instagram. I was like, y'all don't actually know what that word means. And this is proof that y'all just like to say things, because, yeah, the thing that a lot of white folks don't realize they're responding to, and black folks that were really caping hard for white folks in the chat, is that you're responding to being racialized, to being stereotyped because of your skin, because I've dated and been friends with white people and none of those people have moisturized, and I've made jokes about it to them and they're like, what's lotion? You know, all that stuff. I made a joking assumption about all white people. And it wasn't an assumption about all white people because I know all white people aren't a monolith. But anyway, how are you supposed to know that if you've never seen my content? Whatever. Fair play. I made that assumption, did that as a joke, and then put it out there. And the amount of white folks that are upset, y'all like to make a lot of, and I'm not saying all white folks, again, a lot of the folks that were upset are the same type of people that like to make huge sweeping generalizations about other people. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, so I just said something. Let me refocus. Okay. A lot of those people seem to be the type of people that don't understand context. Because a lot of you want to operate in a world where the roles were reversed and Africans came to UK and stole a bunch of white people and made them work in the hot toiling sun as slaves on African plantations, and now there are a bunch of African white folks in Africa, and I made a joke about white people moisturizing, so it's really not fair and unkind of me because my ancestors enslaved y'alls, so how dare I? But I don't think that's what happened. That's not what happened. I don't think that's what happened. What I think happened was the other way. And because of that, we're not coming to these conversations from the same place, because the legacy of that is still there. And if you were to acknowledge the legacy of that and then be able to joke around and have the yuck yucks, it could work. Because I make this moisturized jokes to white friends that I have, and it's because I think that they are company that I can have that kind of joke around, and we talk about these things. We don't shy around about discussions about race. We don't. So we can make some jokes back and forth about race, because I'm like, you know what? I know that you are also someone that does the work of unpacking all the biases, me and you both. So I trust that we can make some yucks about some race jokes, and it's fun between us. So yeah, I did it online. Wider audience, and also I don't really care. I'm gonna leave it up. Comment that I'm racist. Girl, do your thing. Truly do your thing. I just don't understand why some of these people want to be oppressed. Your feelings could be hurt. It could be prejudiced and stupid. Yeah. It could be just not funny to you at all. All of those things could be true. But racist? You're just using that word because you know it's the most stinging kind of word. But it stings to y'all because your ancestors have more of a legacy of that. And I'm not saying that racialized people cannot also be racist or cannot be racist to other people. I'm not saying that. I just am, when I'm saying a lot of this stuff, I'm using a lot more historical context that I've actually studied and researched and deeply care about learning more about. A lot of y'all saw 10 TikToks that day and decided you knew what racism meant. On crabs. On crabs. Truly. There's this thing that I notice online because of all of these comments and stuff as well. It's like this hyper-liter, and Travis and I were talking about this actually. So it's this hyper-literization. Everything is taken literally. There's no nuance, there's no context, there's no, let me try to see this from different angles. It's the same thing I was talking about before. I immediately feel something, I'm going to react on that thing that I feel, and nobody else's feelings matter. I know the truth and nobody else does, and if they're not saying and thinking the true thing that I say, think, and believe, then they are wrong and liars and bad. Y'all take everything very literally, but then don't know what the words mean or the different things that come together to inform the words that you're using or misusing. I was on there getting called everything but a child of God. People were like, you don't look that young. I know I don't. I shouldn't. I'm 31. Girl, you're just too black for the filter. I responded, yes, I am dark-skinned, because a lot of people, those same people that would say that I'm racist for saying shit like that are the ones that are black and white, because it wasn't just white people that were talking about how dark I was. It was black folks too that would really want to let me know, well, you're just too dark. You're just too blickety black and ugly. You're just too poor, black, and ugly. Look at ya. If you peep the reference, if you know, you know. But we'll say all that stuff because, but then white supremacy isn't real. But then colorism isn't real and racism isn't. No, it's not. It's not a real thing. You dumb, ugly, dark, black bitch who can't use a filter. It's not a real thing. Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? If you associate dark skin with everything that you can think of as negative, do you not see how that could maybe be racist, colorist, white supremacist? Because in order for there to be a dark, black, ugly, there has to be a pretty, light, white. You know what I'm saying? And again, I know not all people think this way, but a lot of y'all just be saying shit, not unpacking what that says about you and your internal dialogue and how you think, feel, and believe, and then acting like we're crazy for acknowledging it. You're not gonna gaslight me, because I know what that word means. You're not gonna gaslight me into thinking that colorism isn't real. I do way too much research and reading for that. And not just research and reading, I spent the first 15 years of my life finding out I was dark skinned before I found out I was black. If we need anecdotal and evidence-based research. In the chat, share your anecdotal whatever. Because colorism isn't just the amount of skin bleaching commercials alone that I put in my colorism video. Y'all, please. Please. But you don't want to see it. But you want to make fun of it. Okay. Stuff like this. I think it's because you're super back, babe, like the darkest. I said, is this an insult? I've been bullied about my complexion since birth. And I say that and people are like, oh, you're being dramatic. My mother tells me about a time I was a baby. And a woman looked at me with disgust and was like, damn, that baby's black. It's bullying because I was a vulnerable child who did nothing to this person. I just did not look the way they wanted me to. Or reminded them of their deepest fears about what it means to be black in this country. Yeah, I'm talking about Canada and the US because Canada likes to act like it doesn't have a racist history. It's kind of wild to me. Check my digital blackface video so you can see just how much blackface they were out here enjoying in Canada. The man who wrote our national anthem did blackface. Y'all, the Canadian national anthem, please stop. Anyway. But this type of stuff right here, it's what people would say to me. Much worse. People would go behind me and chant charcoal. Groups of kids and older teens behind me chanting charcoal, calling me asphalt. I'd walk into a classroom and somebody would just say midnight and everybody would start laughing. I had a group of kids in a cafeteria. This is mostly when I lived in Georgia. Group of kids in cafeteria middle school. Their favorite thing to do was to wait for me to come in so they could all just burst out into laughter. Y'all know that scene in Mean Girls where she walks up to the girl and she's like, I like your outfit. She walks away and she's like, that is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen. That happened to me in real life. I made friends with people one day because in apartment complexes in Georgia, like when we were poor growing up, you just live in apartment complexes until my dad got a job where he could like live in a house. But like you just live in apartment complexes. There are tons of kids playing around. And I would think that I'd make friends with kids, and then the very next day, they'd be making fun of me with their group of friends. And this happened more than once. The only reason I remember my first perm is because I walked outside, I had a cute little shirt on, this red shirt with these pants with cherries on it, and I had made friends with people the other day. I walked outside the very next day to hang out with them. They were sitting all on this wall, and they all took turns spitting on me. And I just quietly went home and didn't tell anyone about that. Till I was like 18. My mom found out, was like, what? And I would tell her about the stuff that people would do and say to me at school. Kids would punch me, take turns trying to make me cry. And I was like, I'm not gonna fucking cry in front of you. This is how I spent my earliest years. And I'm not even telling y'all all of it. There's a lot of it that I've completely blocked out or that I just don't talk about. This is, so somebody online who doesn't have the audacity or the nerve, and I'm not gonna block anyone's name out because if you have the nerve to say it, then you have the nerve to stand in it. But it's not, I'm sorry. I've dealt with much worse than that, so it's gonna take a lot more than that to really get me out of my skin, so to speak, but also, do not piss on my back and tell me it's raining. Do not sit here and act like we don't live in a world that values lighter complexion, that wants people to be lighter. Maybe we're not appreciating whiteness as much, but still lightness. That wants to remove itself from the things that make all of us different and unique human beings. Anything that's a little too different or in the margins, we can't take. But we're crazy for observing it and making a name to it, adding a language and trying to fight back against it. If Harriet Tubman had just sat there and ate her rice, she said she could have freed more slaves if they knew they were slaves. That's also a deep cut. Some of y'all might have gotten that. So great day on the internet. Oh, God. Oof. I just can't. Can't. I'm so silly. But no, for real. And this is why I have to say these things with some humor, because like people really try to play in my face. People really try to play in my face about this stuff that I not just know but research and learn. And also it's because to freedom. Yes. But it's also because I'm used to people seeing my black femme queer body and just needing to hear somebody else say the thing that I'm already saying so that they can believe it. So I always have receipts because I'm used to people not believing the shit that I say. And I talk about this in the last episode of You Can Always Change Your Mind. That's going to be all about some black female rage because I got a lot of it and I'm not ashamed of it anymore. But like, girl, the amount of times I even notice with the audience how y'all will prefer if I don't do something too cerebral, too heady, too thinky, too much research. Y'all want to shoot the shit and chat, which I appreciate because it means that I have a conversational attitude, but I be reading and sometimes it seems like I'm put in a box because of my body that you expect a certain type of content, so you won't show up for the other videos and things. I'm telling y'all the truth. If I make a video about something and Feek will make the exact same video, because he's a man and he's older, there will be more credence to what he says. So Feek does intentionally, and I notice that he does this, he will try to cite other black femme creators to let y'all know what's up, but he can't make people engage with our stuff and watch. He can't make people do that. And the irony is, like, anyway. Y'all's favorite video essayists and things like that, you want them white and/or male. When me and T and Shanspeare and the dolls get into this heady stuff, get into this stuff, y'all don't want to hear it as much. You want us to talk about mess. You want us to talk about gender war stuff, which we can do. And it's a good time, but I don't know. Y'all know I don't let anyone get away with anything, and that includes the audience. I fight tooth and nail to show you that I contain multitudes, that I can do X, Y, Z and stuff, that you can't just look at me one way. But some of you maybe don't see the multitudes in yourself, so therefore you don't see it in others. I don't know, but like, the numbers don't lie. YouTube can recommend and not whatever, but at the end of the day, if you don't show up and show out for the creators that you say you want to see more of, if you're going to complain about, and this is a tangent, I'm on a different subject now, here we go. Anyway, if you're going to complain about, oh, the space is white, BreadTube is too white and blah, blah, blah. ContraPoints made a whole tweet with all these different black creators and black femme creators. And where was everyone else? Did they show up? I'm just reading things. Gender war stuff, you're right. I know that. Gender war stuff can be thinky critically. All of that, of course. But am I only supposed to talk about gender stuff because I am affected by it? Am I only supposed to talk about queer issues because I'm queer? There are plenty of black femme philosophers that your favorite, smartest, millions of counts, YouTubers, the white dudes, whatever, probably haven't even read. And if they have, I barely see them cited. Do they know who Nikki Giovanni is? Easiest one, Audre Lorde, maybe. Bell Hooks, maybe, because those two are very popular. Y'all don't want to hear from black, dark-skinned, black as well, femmes as much as you say you do. Maybe you did 3 years ago when it was cool and it was in and it was like, oh my God, yes, down with the white man, which, like, okay, but like, y'all, please. The ones that do want to hear, show up. And I know who y'all are because y'all are pretty consistent. I know. This is to add some positivity to this. I'm like, you two black. Did they do a thing where they added a creator, like, was Shanspeare or something? I know Turb was on there. A lot of the other creators I don't think I recognize. Like, I don't know what their niche is, but I'm not sure if how many, like, I'm thinking and genuinely thinking about a black femme that is what we would describe as a public intellectual. And I'm not saying that you have to be a public intellectual to have any sort of legitimacy, but I'm genuinely just wondering that has the same levels of audience and engagement and whatever as like a Marcus Lamont Hill? Is that? Or what's his name? Cornel West. Maybe Cornel West. You know, like, I'm just wondering about popular black femmes and women that, yeah. Oprah, don't, y'all, please. Oprah, stop. Did you not see her video with that charcuterie? Wowzer, dowser, dow. I'm sorry, fucking love that video. Fucking love that video. Hold on, I gotta turn this thing off. I don't wanna see this anymore. Exactly, not a billionaire. Also, I have very high ambitions for myself, y'all. I don't want to be a billionaire. Definitely not. Like, I'm good. I just want to be comfy. Like, I'm not expecting a shit ton of shit. I just want to be comfy, you know. But I do want to be out here hosting, doing all the things, facilitating these kinds of conversations on a wider scale, because I really do care about this stuff. And elevating the voices of people that get ignored, because I care about this stuff and I do try to do that. And I say this a few times as well, but like, yeah, anyway, sorry, this is I'm not gonna say that. But yeah, anyway, that was a side tangent from my issue of just being black and online, and people can be like, well, you don't have to do it. And you're right, I don't have to. But everybody's got to work. And I busted my ass for a whole decade serving in restaurants and bars and shit. My body is tired. And I've seen what physical labor does on the body to my parents, at least my mom and my aunt. So, you know. Oh my God, the super chats. Okay, thank you, Khalil. Thank you, LB. Shenna or Chenna? Thank you, Chenna. Sorry. Oh, goodness. Oof. All right. Next thing. The strike. Hollywood is on strike, and people are freaking out, which, you know, fair. And some people are like, well, other people are on strike. What about teachers and nurses and people that actually do stuff? Stop. If you cared about teachers and nurses, you'd actually be fighting for teachers to have better wages, especially early child. What is it? Early childhood practitioner, ECP? Is that what it is? If you cared as much about teachers as you say you did, you'd be doing more than this. Speaking of teachers, real quick side note, the music program that I co-founded with my friends is doing our summer program for the 3rd year, and this is 100% free summer program, Marigold Music Program, because when we say we want to break down barriers, we mean that shit. I told y'all I'm not just on the internet talking. I actually care about this shit IRL, so probably shouldn't be saying all this stuff because it's a young program. But this year's summer music program you can watch online and you can watch in person in Toronto. I will be hosting and be doing some live streams to help raise some money. So I'm going to put the Eventbrite real quick in the chat and the website to the program. And yeah, give us some follows on Instagram. Engage with the post, because if you say you don't have the funds, you don't have the time, you don't have the dollars, but you're scrolling through the gram, you can at least give a like and a little heart on a comment. You could do that. You could do that. Especially if it's a cause you think is a good cause. I just put the link in here for our Instagram page, because soon we're going to be announcing who the marigolds are for this year, and one of them has been in the program since the very first year. And the first year, somebody found out that we had, like, they had a piano and, like, donated it to her, like, a good piano. So I'm just saying, you can check out the website and see the first original group of marigolds that were on here. I just put the link to the websites. Yeah. So there are the links in the chat for you to support. I'm pretty sure, I'll ask them about the mask mandate, but I'm pretty sure it's in. I'm pretty sure. But there's a live stream as well. But yeah. Because one of my things after I graduated was like, there are no programs the whole time I was in school, unless you are rich and can afford to take time off work or have your parents pay for you, you can't do any of these types of music programs. And I never got to do one when I was younger, and it fucking sucked because I really like music. And yeah, some of you might be like, music, that's not changing the world. Leave me alone. People have been making music since forever. Human beings have been, so that was something that I cared about, and this is hopefully, I know nothing about a music program. I graduated with a degree in singing. I'm not a pedagogue. I'm not any of that type of shit. And I had a lot of mental health issues and had to take steps back and all this other stuff. And I'm just now in a place where I can like recommit and do all that. And it was a lot of free hours of work. So, and I did not have a job and did not have money. Like, it was not some, oh, I was just hanging out. This is before YouTube was even popping. YouTube started popping around the time I was already working on this program. So, yeah, I'm just saying it to y'all because you can do more than you think. It's a matter of just eventually, if we're going to have the same capitalist mindset on one spectrum of just get up, grind set, do it, then the other way. Maybe you can get up, grind set, and do it for your community. Like, I don't know. Gosh, anyway. But yeah, so the writers are on strike. Oh. YouTube ever. I just want you to know that I see and hear and listen to you and amazing and don't stop doing you. Dawari. Is that how you say your name? Dawari? Dowry? Please correct me. And thank you. Thank you. I'm just being more transparent with y'all about how I feel, what I want, what I need, what I don't need, and yeah, I'm just trying to be more honest, I guess. How do you find a way to volunteer with music programs? I'm a voice music major trying to find some stuff. It depends on where you're located. Honestly, I know it's hard to find mutual aid groups and stuff. Like people want to help, but they're like, I don't know where to go, because usually it's a Facebook group or like a signal chat. Like, but I would start with just trying to Google and see if there are volunteer opportunities. I've ran into some hiccups even in Montreal, wanting to do some volunteering, and like some of the programs are just not running because they don't have the funds, and so they don't need volunteers because they're like, we're not really doing anything. So you kind of just have to Google and call around in your city, and even ask on Instagram the people that maybe there's somebody that you follow or know that's like, yeah, this is what you can do or whatever. But yeah, y'all can do more things than you think you can or have been made to think you can. Because like, if I would have told people, oh, I want to start a music program, and didn't have adults in the room, and by adults in the room, I just mean like people in their careers, deeper in their careers than I am, encourage me, I wouldn't have done it. Or people would have just been like, I don't know, like when you have wild, quote unquote, fantasies about drastically changing the landscape of something, people look at you like you're kind of nuts, or like you're a child, like, okay, sweetie, good for you. But then when you do succeed, people are like, oh, wow, good for you. I think about that with YouTube too. Like I just did it. And then people were like, oh, look at you, not surprised. But it's like, if I had told people I want to be a YouTuber, some of you might have seen it, but other you would have been laughing. And I don't really want to be a YouTuber. I'm trying to get on this platform, but anyway. Okay. Yes, it is a fighter spirit. I have an attitude. I have a problem. Just like I was telling y'all about all that bullying stuff when I was younger, even then, I was like, I'm gonna find the darkest man on earth and we're gonna have the blackest babies. I don't want kids, so it's a never mind, but still, I saw that energy. And maybe some of y'all in the chat live in the same city. Maybe you can chat with each other in here about what your city does and how you can volunteer and get together. I don't know. But yeah, so the writers on a strike, and let's watch this video.
Protecting our rights.
In this case, the issue that needs to be broken down is that people conflate visibility with wealth, because visibility provides access, which is traditionally only acquired through wealth. And this is why storytelling and advocacy is incredibly important. Because the internet in general, between streaming and social media, has made people more visible, but it hasn't inherently made people more wealthy. So what is needed is the storytelling of that disconnect, and why visibility does not inherently mean access or wealth. And showing like a day in the life of somebody who's working 10 hours on a set and then has to go bartending, or has to be a notary, or has to do A, B, or C. And for bigger name actors like Leslie and a lot of the people that are on the picket lines currently, they need to be a microphone and a mouthpiece for some of the smaller actors, background actors, people who are not making as much as they do. As well as stories of people who are visible but cannot afford to live.
I don't know,
It's this dissertation that's titled, What Makes Hollywood Run? Capitalist Power and Risk, the Control of Social Creativity. In this dissertation, it combines an interest of political economy, political theory, and cinema to offer an answer about the pace of Hollywood film business and its general modes of behavior. More specifically, this dissertation seeks to find out how the largest Hollywood firms attempt to control social creativity, that is the art of filmmaking and its related social relations under capitalism, do not become financial risks in the pursuit of profits, controlling the ways that people make films and watch films. The thesis argument is that the institutional facet is a capitalist power. This is dedicated to all my fellow content creators. Do not get caught up on the wrong side of history because you thirsty for a whole bunch of opportunities. Listen, as a person that's married with 2 kids and mortgage and bills to pay, I understand that we got to feed ourselves and we look for opportunities. The question becomes, how much is you willing to give up for that opportunity? A lot of us become lost in the sauce of visibility, and we start to look at the individuals that's getting the checks instead of the individuals that's signing the checks, and they usually make the most profit. Let's be real. Whether we're talking about NBA players or actors, anytime we start talking about class conflict or issues around money, we always point the finger at the folks that's the most visible. Meanwhile, we ignore the people collecting the most profits in the shadows. What I've learned is that streaming has literally impacted the film industry in ways that make it where actors and actresses are not able to get their coin points at the end. See, what I learned is that the people that were in Friends, they made most of their money based off the reruns and reselling the episodes. Education is elevation, and we have to become more class conscious, which is defined as an awareness of one's place in the system of social classes, especially in the Marxist term as it relates to class struggle, especially when we start talking about labor and how individuals are able to dictate the means of production and value and concerns of labor. And saying it simply, on my mama, it's not the laborers that usually be able to dictate that. Support working class people.
Trying to be
So the reason that I really like this video is because people, one, don't take anything in the arts seriously, but don't understand that their whole lives are in some way, shape, or form affected by creatives and artists. You have to be a creative person, an individual, to come up with half the shit that human beings have come up with, to be an inventor. There's a lot of creativity and science and all of that. So, especially when people were bored during the pandemic, I'm like, what were you dependent on during the pandemic? Most of you that are now on the same platforms talking about, oh, it's not that serious and actors need to calm down. Other biggest part, y'all, hold on, whoops, let me just make sure I'm good. Okay. You're using the most visible actors, the most famous celebrities, as the end-all be-all of, or not the end-all be-all, that's not the way I'm using that term. You're using them as the example of what actors are complaining about, when most actors are not going to ever be that wealthy. Most actors are not ever going to be that famous. Like, just because we see these people everywhere, it makes it seem like anyone can do it and that it's commonplace, but it is not. It's not. And on the celebrity spectrum, on the acting, not even celebrity, on the acting spectrum, being more visible does not always mean having more money. Actors are now being transparent about the fact that they don't have as much, and Tiana was talking about this as well, Fab Socialism, on her Instagram, about how many actors and stuff before were flexing on the gram, making it seem like because they were famous they had all this stuff when they really didn't, and now people are being transparent, and it's like, well, you could have just told us you were broke the whole time, but you have to keep up appearances. But this is what I think is so beautiful about this moment and this crumbling of this facade of capitalism. One of the things, or one of the elements of capitalism, I should say, I'm not going to, one of the things that, especially in a work environment, it relies on is a lack of transparency. You don't talk about how much you're making, because if one person finds out, I understand, sorry, let me clarify. I understand that sometimes it's like, okay, well, that's my business, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But there's only so far that can go before it turns into a way for people to use it for nefarious reasons. For people to turn around and continue to increase their salary year over year over year. If this many people have 95, whatever the percentages of the world's wealth, obviously the rest of the people that are on this side, the larger number, are not going to have enough to go around, because we're sharing 5%, or whatever the number is. Citation needed. I don't actually know the number. But do y'all see? And it's so funny how capitalists operate, because they get you to think that this has always been the way, which is not the case. And obviously systems before that weren't amazing. The feudal rights weren't great. One of which, even knowing like your master could sleep with your wife before her wedding, like stuff like that. Like, yeah, I'm not saying that shit was fantastic, but I'm just saying human beings have lived for a long time without capitalism. And man, I wish I could find this podcast that I was listening to that was talking about the Roman period, because it made me want to read this book. It's like a giant history book about Rome, so maybe I'll get to it when I'm older. But the author was talking about, or no, I was trying to learn about bread and circus, and was learning that there were some social programs in Rome, but actually, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking because I actually don't remember where I listened to this from, and if I keep talking, I'm gonna just be spreading lies. So, going back to what I was originally saying, it's interesting how capitalists think and operate because they make you feel like, one, it's always been this way. Two, there can never be anything after this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It requires you to not have an imagination. It requires you to suppress the parts of yourself that give you a little tingle every time you going into work like, what is this for? Truly, what is this for? People have even turned religion capitalist, which is wild to me. Because you have to think you're some sort of God to think that God cares about money. An entity being that we can't even comprehend. You think he cares? Look at me. The conditioning is strong. You think that thing cares about money? A human invention? It created us. We created money. Why would it give a shit about, you know what? Capitalists do this, and I was listening to this one, I actually do remember, a great series of episodes from Vox's Throughline about capitalism, and one of them was a debate between these people. One was more of a capitalist or an economist, I think. It was a debate, and it was a good debate, but I just remember every time I heard the guy that was all for capitalism talking, I was just like, you have to have such a high level of cognitive dissonance to really buy into this. Wow. Because at one point they have a woman come on and talk to all of them, and I think she's a black nurse, and she lost her job. I don't know. You have to listen to it because I'm sorry, y'all, but it's Throughline. It's a series of episodes they did about capitalism. So if you just look that up, I'm sure you'll find it. But just the way he was talking to her in a very, well, why don't you just do this? But why don't you just this? And every time they were like, because, nah, he'd just say it again. And it's this very immature sort of, I wouldn't even say immature. It's immature, but it's also a lack of, and by immature, I'm not saying it in like you're a kid. I'm saying it like, to me, an immature sense of view or worldview is a very limited one that has not had time to mature, to grow, to develop, to acquire more information, to sift through that information and decide what's for them and what's not. It's just very, and I'm not saying you can do all that and then come to terms that capitalism is good, but I'm saying if you're gonna, all of this without compassion as well, which was the next part, it's immature and it lacks compassion, lets me know that like, this is how capitalists tend to think too. Very discompassionate, is that the word? Or not uncompassionate, is it? I don't know. Anyway, but there's no compassion for the fact that literally poverty could happen to anyone. There's no compassion because you don't think it could be you. So why the fuck would you care? These writers want to pay their rent. When they start losing their homes, then they'll see how this system works. When they start going poor and their kids can't afford food, then they'll see that we don't play around here with our billions. Then they'll get it. They're being unrealistic. This is not the way things are supposed to go. I inherited this. Off the backs of others, off the pain of others. And not only am I going to make sure that everyone feels this too so that they never try to fight it, it's like, sorry, I got so distracted because somebody came outside and I was like, huh? It's like, this, I don't know how to, yeah, I think Fran said it was like an infection, a cancer that just keeps spreading, this greed. And you have to have a lack of compassion to continue full speed ahead in that sort of mindset. You have to. Because how can you have empathy and compassion for people and continue to act in that way? Especially when you know better. It's why it was my biggest fear when my YouTube blew up and I was making money. I was like especially because sponsors, because YouTube itself, it's kind of like, honestly, I think like any job, like it's like decent some months, terrible some months, it just depends. But like when sponsors were coming in, and I was getting lowballed actually, but like still thinking, oh my God, I've never seen this kind of money. Like what? I told my dad I was scared. I was like, I do not want to be a millionaire because any person I've ever seen, like you have to be terrible to be that. And like millionaire, that's actually a drop in the bucket. That's not really nothing. Y'all aren't really doing nothing. I'm talking about billionaires right now. Millionaires, we can talk about it later. Billionaires? That's a level of evil. And I say evil intentionally because to me, being evil is literally denying people their basic humanity. That's evil to me. For the sake of your own, not just self-preservation, because people want to survive, people want to live. I don't think like it's terrible. I want to be comfortable in my life. I know that. But there's comfort and there's billionaires. I just don't. And people will be like, well, they donate to schools, they donate to this. Why do you want to be an accomplice in your own oppression? Why do you want your life to stay this way? Why do you want to keep waking up every day wondering, really? This is it? Again? And some of you don't have to struggle as much, so you're not thinking that way, or you've never had to. A lot of you are giving that you didn't grow up poor, and it shows. Try growing up poor in a suburban neighborhood. Wild as well. Not like, yeah, anyway, God. Now people have to prove their poverty too, which is also kind of weird to me, but anyway. I'm like, y'all never heard of debt? People run into debt trying to keep up with the Joneses, but anyway. God, sorry. I feel like I've been ignoring this chat and just fucking talking. Your neighborhood, thank you. And like, I know that, well, actually, I don't know the numbers, I don't know whatever. We don't know what it looks like for the world to be way more equal, to have 95% of the wealth in the rest of, like, you know, I don't know. But can't we try and find out? Because this way really doesn't seem to be working. And I'm reading a really great book. Ooh, bitch, this book right here is juicy. It's called Palo Alto, A History of California, Capitalism, and the World. And like, y'all, I'm not even, like, I'm only like 100 and something pages in. I'm reading this, and ooh, the second one I'll show you is Miss Major Speaks. We'll have a quick book corner, and then I'll get to my last story. But God, there's so many good quotes in here. Hold on, I'm gonna find a couple for y'all. Because the beginning is talking about how there are a lot of unalivings that go on in Palo Alto, in this town, and it's interesting because it's Silicon Valley, it's the tech, whatever, right? And so the author, Malcolm Harris, is walking you through this entire history of this land, of this area, starting with gold mines, starting with indigenous people being kicked off the land and diseased out of existence, basically, by white settlers. And then the idea of, and I talked about this in my East Asian stereotypes video, having Chinese laborers coming in and then ridding them, and like all of this people as disposable property, whatever, just to help you get what you need so that you can build your own piece of whatever. Talks about the creator of Stanford University and his history. This quote is, California, by 1870, scarcely 20 years since the initial rush, California settlers had destroyed 80% of the California Indians by one estimate, bringing the population from 150,000 down to 30,000. Quite possibly the most extreme demographic disaster of all time, in the words of historian Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz. Sorry, there's a lot in here that's really good. Hold on. They even talk about, in one little section, he's talking about if Californian Indian life appeared too easy to Europeans, it's because the former could rely on thousands of years of enduring knowledge about their environment. Basically, the indigenous people to this land maybe seemed lazy or seemed like they were just kind of chilling, but it's because they knew the land and they knew when to use it and when not to, when to give it a rest and all of this. And the Europeans came over and somebody found out there was gold and they destroyed the land. And so I'm sure he's going to get into climate change as well here. Like, there's just a lot, but yeah, she's thick. So I'm using the audiobook. She's thick. The other one I'm reading is Miss Major Speaks. Ooh, Miss Major Speaks. Between this and The Stroll, Miss Major Speaks, Conversations with a Black Trans Revolutionary. Bitch, you better get you some Miss Major Speaks. She's dragging all the girls. The first chapter of Stonewall didn't happen. Or the first section of Stonewall never happened. But I don't know. Some of us reading this book might have to acknowledge the fact that a lot of queer folks do damage to the trans community and don't want to be involved. Anyway, okay. Last topic. This one I didn't even really look into too much. We're just doing a textual analysis here. Who do y'all see? Who are all of these people? Hoppa, who this man? Who are all these people? Tell me who. Dis-moi. Who are all these people? Don't say white people. Y'all, come on. Who are these actors? We should know some of them, because this is a dinner at Kristen Bell's house. Y'all, stop just saying white people. This is so rude. See, now people gonna actually think I'm racist. I'm just saying the actors. I see Courtney Cox in here. I see Jennifer Aniston. There are more celebrities than just the friends. Is it? I can't see everybody. I thought the dude on the bottom right was Mark Ruffalo. Not Mark Ruffalo, Jeff Goldblum for a split second. Okay, oh my God. Chris Evans, oh maybe. Is Chris Evans in here? Y'all, truly, I don't know who most of these actors are. But anyway, apparently, Kristen Bell, and hold on, I need to find the book that she wrote. Yee. Okay, well. All right, I found it. Ooh. Kristen Bell, author of this book, The World Needs More Purple People. It's a children's book. I don't know when it came out, but anyway. She had that dinner and a bunch of people were like, mm-mm. Now, what do y'all think is wrong with the picture, quote unquote wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying wrong with the picture because of the amount of people that were upset about it. I'm just genuinely asking a question. I'm not trying to gotcha. When you look at this photo, knowing that she wrote this book, because I'm trying to get y'all to see what a lot of folks were saying. She was in a good place and didn't even invite Chidi. Stop this. Where are the purple people? Okay. No, where are the purple people? Not the caucasity, y'all, please. Okay. So yeah, that was a thing. A lot of people were like, but where the purple people at? Because you wrote a book about this stuff, so what's going on here? And listen, I don't know. I truly do not care who she's friends. Well, okay, hold on. Actually, hold on, Khadija. Hold on. The only reason I care about the color palette of Kristen Bell's friends is because this is something that I've talked about a lot across all types of different intersecting identities. I said this in the last video, if you're a dude and you've never been friends, just platonic friends with a girl, even if maybe you started dating and then you just end up platonic friends, however you become friends, if you've never been one with a girl and only interact with women, sorry, I zoned out for a second, and only interact with women because you want to date them, sleep with them, how do you, at least in my opinion, grain of salt, but how do you know you're not just, like, how do you know your interactions with women are genuine, that you see women as people? And I'm not saying that the person that you are friends with has to be the sole representative for all X race, X gender, whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, the same reasons people think college campuses needing to be diverse are the same reasons I think friendships should be as well, and like who you hang out with and know, because it just expands your worldview, makes you less ignorant, even if it's just slightly. Again, that person is not a representation of every person that you meet, and you shouldn't be using them like, oh, I can't be racist. I have an Indian friend. Or worse, I can't be racist. My children are biracial. Yee! Woo! You may like that racialized person, but it doesn't mean that you can't be racist about other racialized people. But anyway. And especially because she wrote a book, and this is what we find in a lot of white liberal spaces. And this is one point, and this is the only point I think that I would ever agree with Supreme Court Justice, what's his name? I actually, like, my brain is actually like refusing to let me remember this man's name. Oh. Clarence Thomas. Anyway, Clarence. We're just gonna call him Clarence, okay? The only time I think I will agree with Clarence, because he used to actually be kind of a radical, and then is that in predominantly white spaces, he would confront this idea of, at least in the South, people were racist to your face and they just say it. Whereas there, they kind of don't say it, but then check you and you step out of place societally, apparently. And this is something that I noticed when I moved to Canada. Canada is very passive aggressive. Canada likes to act like they don't have any racism. Canada likes to act like they are not as bad as the US. And girl, I grew up in Georgia and I grew up in Alberta. Stop. Because the way y'all treat indigenous people here, I mean, America truly is no better. Truly, like, please. But why do y'all have to have a contest on, well, at least we're not as bad as? You're still in the shitty contest. So why is it the lesser of two? Girl, keep it. People in Winnipeg protesting at a landfill to get people to search it. so that they can bring their sisters home. That's why you literally are telling people that you think that they are trash. And you wonder why they're mad. It's crazy to me. And one more reminder, the man who wrote Canada's national anthem did blackface. Okay. Just so we know. Just so we know. Because Canada, you will always get smoke from me. Every time. Oh my God. Because sometimes I was just like, at least in America, people will just say it to your face. People will just call you the N-word or something. It's wild. But I have a lot more respect for that shit than all the passive-aggressive nonsense. And that's what a lot of liberal white folks, they want the gesture of, I'm a good person, right? I'm a good person. I'm open-minded. I care about people. There's no. And if we're gonna talk about class consciousness, y'all, some of y'all only want to hear opinions from racialized people that you think are, how do I word this, classed a certain way. And what I mean by that is, like, I speak a certain way. Shakespeare speaks a certain way. And even Shakespeare has gotten it where she would say axe, you know. When the AAVE kicks in, I literally had to train myself out of saying axe and say ask, actually. Because some white person pointed it out and I was like, no, I know grammar, I know English. But people will realize that we speak a certain way. You know, there's a certain way, and so it's more palatable. It's more comfortable for you to be around. You're more comfortable for them to be around. You went to a well-known school. You can code switch is basically what I'm saying. But you also can still be black. So, you know, they like to keep you around. Talk about how diverse their friend group is. And like, I know it's not 100% fair to put this on people because people can just like you and just want to hang out with you. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not saying that. I have plenty of white friends, y'all. But I have found that in these liberal white spaces, it's always the people that think that they could never be racist that say some racist shit and you're like, girl, no, stop. What? Why would you say that? Or will vote against certain policies that would, I don't know, change district lines in certain areas so that their kids can not have to be influenced by the bad school that happens to be white, black, and brown. There's nothing wrong with those kids. I just don't want my kids to go to their school. Wow. This is what happens when you're not allowed to learn your history. You think that it's just that these things just appeared. That's the thing. You think that these things just happened. There's no, oh no, somebody made an effort to make things this way so that certain people would be advantaged and others would be disadvantaged or disenfranchised. Again, I'm using that word on purpose. Okay. All right, I'm checking the chat. And also, okay, wait, since I got smoke for everybody today, racialized creators will also have this kind of attitude. I have had to check myself because even when I was younger, I used to think that me having good grammar was a way to flex on all the other black people that would make fun of me for being dark-skinned. Yeah, I thought that shit was cute. It's not. It's not, because it's you just trying to seem like you're better than someone. That's why I do not like the debate bro area. Because yes, okay, sometimes I do get salty and petty and I'm like, I know what words mean. Yep, I've done it a few times on this chat already. I think I just did it. I get it. I'm letting y'all know that I'm human. And sometimes I'm gonna be an asshole when people are being assholes. Fight me. Okay, anyway. But I keep realizing I can't edit this down. It's going to be a straight through. But I will see leftist creators, so-called, you know, I don't know. And usually, I'm not going to lie, a lot of times it's the dudes that seem like they are so progressive and open-minded and care about issues, but the first chance they get to dunk on someone, make fun of them, their looks, call them stupid, like I'm just like, I get that you need engagement and I get that this is what YouTube is for, but like, if you're as smart as we believe you to be, you can do other things. You might not get the same views, but then you'd have to admit that that's what you care about. But a lot of people don't want to do that. I'm honest with y'all. I asked y'all for super chats in this chat is because I was being like, yeah, drop some coins. Most times when I read works, here we go again, making it about race. Most times when I read works written by black femmes and stuff, there's a lot of transparency off rip of what their biases are, of where the perspective they're coming from, all this other stuff. But when I look online or when I read these books by, and not just white dudes, but like other racialized dudes, sometimes to varying degrees, I'm just like, you're just acting the same. But you're in a different body and you have different politics that you can speak of, so you're making it seem like you're doing something different, but like, I don't know. Anyway, is there anything else y'all want to ask or say before I pop out of this thing? Also, yeah, I think I'm smart, but my thing is I'm smart, but I'm real dumb. I say that all the time because, like, what the fuck do I know? It's humbling. Some of us need to be humbled. Some of us have been humbled our whole lives so we can do it, but some of y'all have never been humbled, and it shows. Oh, thank you, thank you. The shirt says Mountain Truth? Oh my god, I'm so sorry, y'all. Look at me, not me wearing this. Is this appropriative nonsense? It's a really cute shirt. Oh my god. Anything else for y'all? Because I'm gonna, it'll be over soon anyway. Debating with no emotion is nonsense to me because everything, you always have emotions. And I think it's intellectually dishonest to say everything that you have prepared for your debate, but not how you're feeling, giving the information, how you're processing being told something. I don't know. I'm just like, you can get emotional, acknowledge the emotion, and continue to have a conversation. We make it seem like the minute emotions come into stuff, everybody's got to stop. Oh no, someone's too emotional. Yeah, I'm emotional. I fucking care about what I'm talking about. And you may not be like that, but I am. So let's come to an understanding. Let's figure out how we can communicate. I'm not going to smack you upside the head or be abusive to you, duh. But I'm not going to promise that I won't be emotional when I'm talking. What? For some of you, that works. If I'm going to let you be how you are, then let me fucking be how I am. People are different. Everyone is different. And when I say that, I also mean more so in a net positive. A lot of people just be like, oh, well then I should be able to be racist. And it's like, that's not, okay. Okay. And for everybody that wants authors and things like that, Google is the perfect place to start. And that sounds rude, but I'm just being honest. I don't have some secret access to places that y'all don't know about. And if I do, I share them with you. But truly, it's just been a matter of Googling and trial and error, of Googling people's lives, what do they stand for, and then it leads to other ones. It's like the Wikipedia game. You click on one thing, you find somebody else with similar, like, so just literally, I Google stuff like liberal black femme writers, or like writers similar to bell hooks or what, like, you just have to ask the questions, and some of you need to practice that. I do my best to give y'all tools, but I can't be spoofing people anymore. I can't do it. So because part of the thing of learning these things is also learning how to learn the information, and that's trial and error. You're going to make mistakes. It's fine. Throw yourself a pity party. Don't overstay your welcome. Get back up and keep doing work. Like, I don't know what else to say. I just find something that's interesting that relates to whatever it is. I don't know, whatever it is I'm learning about. And then I just keep doing that. And then it leads me to other stuff and other stuff. So that's just what you have to do. And you have to be willing to put that work in to get the information. Because if people just that's the thing. It's like, also, we just get handed information left, right, and center. We're ungrateful for it. There was a time where people, and there are places in the world now where people don't have access to the knowledge we do. We normalize it because we live in this part of the world and the internet and stuff, but a lot of places still don't or have consistent access. But people still find ways to get information. So, yeah. And you can look at the chat or the description box of many of my videos to find stuff. I quote a lot of similar books, and yeah, you read one book, and usually if it's an author worth their salt, they'll quote or talk about another writer in their book, and then you can find more people from that. And it just happens over time. But you have to be willing to put in the energy, time, and effort to do that. And also be willing to put in the energy, time, and effort to creators that you say you want to see, support. When there are, in the art sense, in the wanting to help in the community, there's a trans march in Montreal that I'm volunteering at because I was like, okay, how else do I get involved? How do I actually show up? If you can only show up online, because I know some people have disabilities and things like that, or if for a certain period of time you can only show up online because you don't really know in your community where, then you show up online, you engage, and this is the algorithmic number that we have to play. You engage with posts and quotes that mean something to you, that matter. You organize your friends to do that too. People on the right know how to do this very well. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. They know how to organize. The dolls on the right, the conservatives, know how to get a group together. People that have more progressive ideas need to learn how to start doing that, or just start doing it and learn as we go. Support the Marigold Music Program. I'm going to ask you to, because it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to these students. And I have not ever paid myself in that program. That's not a thing. And I've taken a step back at times and all of that, but that's not the point. The point is that it's a program for the students. And if you want to put your money or your whatever where your mouth is, then at least for me, with the stuff that I'm doing, that's some way that you can support. And if you can't give money because of the economy, fair, you can engage with posts. You can comment on posts. You can like posts. I'll give you this for free. When we were applying for grants, part of it was that we had to talk about how many impressions we got. Like, this is a real thing that more and more people are asking for. How can you get people engaged on social media? So if you don't think your like or your comment can go somewhere, you might be wrong. Just do it and see. If there's certain things that you're seeing on YouTube that you don't like, you can say, I'm not interested, and then tell YouTube what you do want to see. Like and comment and engage with. And you don't have to make it some meaningful, thoughtful, dissertation. You can just be like, engagement. If there are creators online that you're like, where? I haven't seen them in a while. It feels like they're shadow banned. Then maybe reevaluate what you're engaging with more so that it gives you the creators that you do want to see. You have way more control and agency over your life than a lot of people would lead you to believe. And I'm someone who will be damned if I let somebody else tell me what I am and am not allowed or supposed to do for my entire life and how I'm supposed to think and feel. I'm going to learn from as many people as I can, take what works for me, leave what doesn't, and then come to my own sort of creation of all of the things. and you are allowed to do that. What else are you going to do with your time? Make somebody else fucking rich? Anyway. God, off my soapbox now. I'm stepping off. Thank y'all so much for watching, for hanging out. I'm going to drink some water and go make myself some dinner because it's late here. And yeah, I'll leave this up for a little bit, but then it's just going to be private for my patrons. Sorry. Thank you to everybody who donated super chats. That was really meaningful. Thank you very much. Again, check out Marigold Music Program if you're wanting to support the specific work stuff that I'm doing on the side. Look up if there are any marches in your city, any organizations. Listen to the podcast, cool people who did cool stuff, especially the episode on the Newsies and how they fought back, children, literal children fighting back against their own kind of oligarchs. I'm saying it hasn't always been this way and it doesn't always have to be. But yeah, thank you so much. Thanks, Sharon. Thank you for joining. Who else is moderating in here? Oh my God, I forgot the username. I'm so sorry. You, woman, you. Yes. I'll leave this up here so some of y'all can keep sending recommendations and stuff to each other in the chat. Yes. Ooh, I feel a lot lighter after saying all this stuff. Good Lord. I knew I had so much on my mind. Some of y'all are still in the chat, letting people know what's up. Asking for people in your area to link up with. Y'all, please don't be nuts. Not nuts. Okay, that's a terrible word to say. I'm sorry, y'all. I said nuts. It was a reflex. Just be careful if you're meeting strangers online. Please be careful as well. Just always that. Always that. Please. Bad bitches link up, but just, please be careful. Oh my God. Everybody's... But yeah, send each other your links or whatever, and then I'll give y'all like 5 more minutes to do that. And then I'm gonna turn the chat off and be silent for the rest of the night. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Yeah, people can use my stuff on Instagram. People just do it anyway, so I don't really care. It's on the internet already. I do have threads if y'all want to follow me on there too. I'm just kind of randomly posting stuff, so. But yeah. Everybody's done their chatting. Everybody's done their connecting, their linking. I really do hope some of y'all are able to link up and that it goes well. Again, online safety. Don't play with me. If I can end up on one of those true crime YouTube, somebody's like, and it started on YouTube in a live chat. I don't want that. All right, bye, y'all. Thanks so much for watching.